Okay. We're live, says
Oh,
the screen.
well, it's about time.
Um, yep. Okay, cool. So let's introduce the boys. This is, here we go. As many of you have seen, hopefully anyway, with our posts in our Discord and stuff, this is going to be a semi regular show that we're trying to put together. Uh, Old Man Gaming is our gaming Warhammer group. So we're going to put some content out via Twitch and YouTube using this channel. Introducing myself. My name is Jake. Also with me is Josh. What's up, Josh?
Hey,
Um, yeah, as far as content, it's all going to be based off of Age of Sigmar. That's the game we play. We might touch on some other topics here or there. There's plenty of news and updates leading into 4th edition, but I guess we'll get started with the program. What do we got first on the docket?
well, like you were doing, just about who we are and what we're planning to do, what we're planning to do with the channel. So, why don't you tell people how long you've been playing Warhammer,
Ah,
and maybe some of your armies, what you're thinking about playing right now?
okay, cool. Yeah, so I've been in this hobby, I guess, now for a full 2 years and some months, I guess.
Okay.
Um, Introduced into this hobby via the guidance of Josh, the OG of the group, I would guess we would call him. Uh,
Me and Tim, maybe. Tim is on the team as
sure,
well.
yeah. I mean, you guys have been playing war games for
Since I was
shit, yeah,
16,
over half your life for sure.
30 years.
Like I said, I just got into this a couple years ago. I think we dabbled a little bit when we were in high school with some 40K.
A little bit.
Um, but getting back into this war game is it's been pretty cool. I think I dove pretty hard into it. Since it started a couple years ago, I think I'm up to 5 armies now. Uh, Obviously, the main army I have is Feck that I love so much. I do have quite a bit of Stormcast just from collecting. I have Night Haunt. I have, geez, now I can't think of them.
Soulblight.
Soulblight Gravelords, yep. And then Iron Jaws. I recently picked up a set of Iron Jaws stuff.
Yeah, solid.
What about yourself?
So like I just said, I've been around for about 30 years. I mean, I started out with some 40K, played Necromunda and played some Warhammer Fantasy Battles, played all the way through 8th, and then a little bit of Ninth Age. I didn't really pick up AoS right away. I don't know. I was just a Ninth Age guy. So then probably around 2nd edition, I started playing AoS, and I really like it. So I've been playing this ever since. Since then, I've bought a lot of armies. I pretty much have every army. I don't have two of the less common ones. I don't have like a full beastman, and I don't have the savage orcs. But everything else, I pretty much have at least a playable army. I don't know if it's good. Recently, I've been going to a lot of tournaments with Jake. And this year I played mostly Corn, although at Adepticon, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I played Soulblight. Didn't go as well as I wanted. Played a little Knight, but I like to change it up. I don't like to stick with one thing, and so I play pretty much everything. Like Jake said, we'll probably try to do this every 2 weeks. We would do it more, but I think my work schedule makes it kind of difficult. I work midnights. But if we get the opportunity, we may jump on in between. And, so just I would try to follow us on like Twitter, Facebook, our Discord. It's all Old Man Games, and we'll post on there when we're gonna do a show, when we're gonna talk about some things. We also plan right now. We're just streaming live on Twitch. Right now, we're just talking about hopefully maybe getting it live on YouTube as well. Maybe as soon as our next show. We just have to kind of iron out some things. So that's kind of really our plan. Like he said, we mostly are going to talk AoS because it's both of our hobby that we love, but also we may talk about some other games if something else comes up. But we don't really have an iron plan, so we're just kind of winging it here. And we got a little outline we're trying to follow. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this first show is a little rough, but I think we got a good plan together. I mean, we do have an outlined script, as you will, so we can try to provide you guys with little segments of the show, and then talk about the main topic for each show. And hopefully you guys can join in the chat, and we'll answer any questions you got during the show too. So if you do have anything, or you want to just shout your guys' self out, go ahead. What's the first segment we're doing after this now?
So we're just going to talk about what we've been up to over the last 2 weeks. It could be Warhammer. Could be pretty much anything. I know we both went to Adepticon, and it was your first Adepticon, so I wanted to hear from you about what your thoughts were on Adepticon versus some of the other GTs we've been to, and just kind of get your idea as a rookie. I've been to many Adepticons in my day, but it's always exciting to take someone to their first. I thought I might oversell it a little bit, but
I mean, you hyped it. You did hype it. I said, this is the greatest experience I'll ever have in my whole life. No, it wasn't quite that much, but it was a constant barrage of, dude, this is it. This is the one you got to go to. And it was fun. And it was actually, even though you talked it up about how large an event it was, you don't realize how big it actually is until you're there and walking it and seeing all the people, and it was great. We both played in the AoS singles tournament. That was what was that, Thursday, Friday? I think we got in on Wednesday, right? And then we played Thursday, Friday for our event. And that actually was pretty cool. I mean, I had five real good games. Hey, no problem, Adam. He said thanks for the invite. But yeah, I would say that if you're planning on playing some tournaments, I would guess that would be one that's on the list every year that you want to try to get to.
Especially if you can drive. Like, we live just close enough to Chicago that we can kind of cruise over there. It's not a terrible drive. I mean,
what it took 4 hours, 4.5, something like that to get over there. And you don't deal with like downtown traffic or anything because it's in a suburb.
Yeah.
So it was just straight highway the whole time, which was great. But yeah, anyways, like I said, I had 5 good games. None of my opponents were, like a bad game or anything.
Yeah.
I underperformed from what I thought maybe I would do, I guess, if you could call it that. I did finish 3-2 at my first Adepticon ever, so like I'm happy for the record.
There you go.
I just, like, I think we talked before about it a couple times, that I kind of just goofed up my first game Or maybe the dice didn't go the way that it maybe should have or something in the
I feel
first
like
game.
that's hard to believe.
Well, I mean, like, I had to put 2 blizzards into a Stonehorn to lift it, so it
Yeah.
tied me up a bit. But, I mean, other than that, who knows how it would have went. You know, I guess it's the same for any kind of tournament. If you can get a real good first day, and then you got a real shot at trying to finish in the top, handful of dudes. But
Yeah.
yeah, 1 and 2 the first day, which is fine. Finished 3-2. But like I said, every game was fun, and I don't have any bad feelings about the actual tournament at all.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just looking up the people I played real quick. I played last year in the championship, and I went 0-3 on day one. No one was there with me, so I just said forget it. Played Daughters of Cain. Didn't go the way I wanted. This year, I had a matchup against a blood opponent in round one. She is. It was Cheryl Kucharski. She's from Indiana, and we've been to a tournament where she was at before, and her and I believe her husband run a tournament over in the South Bend area. But she was a really good opponent. She played her army really well. It was really nice. So it was a good game, and she stomped me. Then I played against a KO player, John Staley. It was my first time ever playing against KO. It was a real close game, also, but I pulled it out with my Soul Blight. Um, My third game was against a gentleman named Benoit Gaskin. He's from up in Canada. I guess he comes every year. This was I think his second or third time, but this was the first time he brought a group. He was playing Stormcast, and he played a bunch of dragons and just beat me up.
And
So
see,
day one,
they're still good. They're just still
yeah,
good.
it's a good list. I mean, and they look cool, right? So he or after that game, I was 1-2 also after day one, but I felt like I still had a shot. Day two, I played against Anthony Newman. He's from Actual Trash Gaming, which is kind of a friend group of ours. And there was a little bit of hairiness. My opponent didn't show up. He was a couple tables higher than me, but he was the only other person that ended up without an opponent. And so he was probably ranked about 20 or 30 spots higher than me. But um, I gave him the best game I could, and he ended up beating me. I feel like it was pretty close as well. My last game was against Kodos Claw, Seraphon, and I ended up pulling out the win on that one. David Dvorak, he was a good player, but just didn't play a lot, and so I kind of and I've played a lot of Lizardmen against you, Jake, so I kind of know a lot of their tricks. And so, I mean, it was Kodos Claw, but it's still lizards, So I kind of knew
Yeah.
what I should expect. But overall, I ended up 2-3, which is apparently 2 games over what I did last year. So I also was perfectly fine with that. I'm generally a 3-2 player, so 2-3 at Adepticon with an army that I'm not amazing at.
Yeah,
Not bad.
it should be noted that Adepticon is one of the larger tournaments, at least in the United States, for most games, AoS and 40K, I believe.
Yeah.
And there was, what do we end up having, 170,
177, I thought, but
177, or something around that range. So I think, yeah, I mean, all in all, if you get a few wins in a large field like that,
168.
168.
168 is what it says here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest tournament I ever played in. And like I said, I don't think I could be disappointed about the performance. There was a few things that went one way or the other. But yeah, other than that, it was fine.
And it's the experience. You go there and you see what it's all about. Like I told you, I think of it like the World Series of poker, but the World Series of Warhammer. Like I really think
Yeah.
it's it. Like at least in the United States, I know there's things with like Worlds and that
Well,
was I think in
and
Atlanta this last
yeah,
year.
and LVO was really huge. I think that was almost 300. I think.
The tournament, but I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think
well,
the
sure. You
convention.
know, that's what I'm saying. The size of the tournament. If you're just talking about that, I think LVO takes the cake. Um, but I mean, I don't know. There's probably not another spot other than Adepticon where you can go and they've got a giant vendor hall that I mean, like everything under the sun for any gaming, wargaming or miniature gaming thing. There's stuff for everyone. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
rows and rows and rows of businesses in there that, that we caved. We caved.
we
We
picked up
caved. We both picked up a
some bag.
new travel case from Battle Foam.
Yeah,
Um,
they're not our sponsor. We don't have any
no,
sponsor at
we
day one, but hey, we're
no
looking.
sponsors from Battle Foam, but I mean, like we wouldn't be hurt.
Yeah.
Where you at, Billy? Is
Yeah,
Billy?
we picked
Is
up
Billy out there?
a Go case from them, so we can hopefully maybe check out LVO in the next year or so. Um, but also, it just seems like it'll be a little easier to transport your army with something like that. So
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, it would be a cool experience also to get on a plane with the army and travel outside of our regional area
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
So that'll be cool, I think. Other than that, like as far as Adepting Gun goes, that's one thing we did in the last couple weeks. I have gotten a couple games in just locally here. I mean, we don't have to talk about it, Josh, if you don't want to.
just go
Um,
ahead.
we had a we had a game. Uh, when was
Last
it?
night,
Last night.
last night.
Um, that went completely one-sided in my favor. Um,
In my defense, I was playing a Cruel Boys list, and I've never ever played Cruel Boys before, so I'm sure I messed it all up.
I mean, that wasn't exactly the excuse you gave last night.
Well, I mean, all you do is roll fives and sixes. I do question your dice. That's why I said earlier. I'm not certain that your dice are legit. I don't think you can roll bad on those dice. But
No, I mean,
Adam said you rolled a bunch of ones tonight, so I don't know.
yeah, and I did play Adam tonight at our local game store. Um, I did roll some ones. I mean, it was pretty close game. He played a King Broad list into a new list for flesh eaters that I was trying out tonight with Usharan and some horrors. Uh, Surprisingly enough, Usharan didn't live past turn 2. I don't think. I think I got him in trouble in combat with a couple of Mega Gargants.
I think he's going to be like a good piece for you, but I think that he's like all pieces. He could die. Like when you didn't after your double turn, I did take him off the table on my second turn in our game too. I
Yeah,
mean, then I gave up because I had nothing left,
I
but I
think
did kill
yeah.
him.
Well, the problem with him is in most of anything of mine is mortal wound, either shooting or spells, just kind of decimates. I guess it does that to anyone, I
Yeah,
suppose. I mean, I just have a 6 of board, right? So it's
or
not.
five on him.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like if you spike a
I mean,
few
it's
things and
33%. I mean, two
yeah,
thirds of the time you
sure.
should still get
And it's
smoked.
not like he's got 30 wounds or anything. So if you can put enough mortal wounds into him, he's just gonna die. It's the same as anything else. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to kind of use him more. So hopefully it gets me in the mood to actually get him painted up and take him to a tournament.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you do with him. Your army looks nice, so I'm sure he'll look real good too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. I don't want to rush him. I'm sure I'll just take a few weeks and get him done right. At least,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, Adam agreed. I mean, it took everything he had for 2 turns to take him out.
Oh yeah, he tanked the shit out of 2 Gargants the first turn. Like I don't even know. He only
Yeah.
took 4 damage, I think, total.
Yeah, it sounds like you rolled bad.
Actually, well, I think it was. I got him. I mean, to be fair, he was all out defensed, mystic shielded, and finest hour'd,
Yeah,
and I was standing on an objective to give me +1 save. So it was basically on 3-ups no matter what his rend was, which
sure.
that's what I mean. Like you could build him up.
Well, and then you put those Kingsguard or whatever with him to give him a 4-up ward save, right? And that just makes
Well, I didn't have him in this list, but yeah, you could. So he could consistently be on a 3-up save 4-up ward with 16 wounds. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it, but did you get any other games in this week with
me and
Ethan?
Ethan were gonna play down here in the basement. We didn't get a chance yet. I wanted to give those orcs one more shot, just to see if it was just bad luck. I mean, like I said in our game, you made me go first. I took 2 objectives, scored 5 points. Then you came across the board, and then you double turned me. If I would have gotten my second turn, I feel like I probably would have taken Usharan off the board, and it could have been a different game.
For sure. But, yeah, that's what I said. You know,
I had 18 bolt boys or whatever they're called that they were shooting at you, and I probably could have pieced them out. I mean, I did it in one turn. Well, I mean, to be fair, I also got off a blizzard on him.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But yeah, but I mean,
but that's what you would have done that anyways. If
right.
if you took the turn, he was dead, right? Yeah. Or if you won the roll,
or if you went first, you would have came across. Then I still would have gotten a bunch of stuff into you.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's how the game goes.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like that, and everything goes kind of the one way for somebody. Like all the things happened for me that I needed to happen. Gobsprack didn't unbind a single spell, or maybe you just won.
I think just one, and then you're like, okay, cool, I heal those wounds. And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
It didn't matter that much. And he didn't like dispel a bunch of spells.
Yeah, I just rolled really good.
So
I was trying out those new dice that I said we're gonna crush you.
Yeah.
They did not.
Well, I mean, they can't suffer a double turn of a bunch of monsters in your face. That's for sure.
Nobody can. So that's my only game so far this week. I've been working on. So I was originally gonna do Chaos, but as we'll talk about later in our main events, Chaos lost some models. So until I can come up with a new list, because I was playing a lot of Warcry models, I think I'm gonna just try to get this Cities of Sigmar army done that I've been working on. And maybe give it a shot to play. The problem is I'm doing special bases, so I would either have to put all the models on putty once they're built until I get the bases done, or the way I'm doing it right now is I'm just doing the bases along with, so it's just taking me a little extra time. I also took a long break so I could finish that Soulblight army for Adepticon, but
yeah.
I think
after pivoting off of Seraphon that you wanted to play.
Yeah, like last minute, I was like, I want to play Seraphon Starborn. No, you know what? We got 2 weeks. I'm going to paint this entire Soulblight army, but I got it done and a board. So, I mean, banged it out. So, I mean, we could talk about that next. What events do we have coming up? We're going to be going somewhere up in Detroit.
Yeah, we are signed up for the High Ground Brewski event. That's in, I believe the town is called Milford. It escapes me the name of the actual brewery that it's at, but it's held in a brewery.
Yeah.
It's actually really
last year, right?
Yeah, I went to that event last year. It was a lot of fun. I think they had, if I remember correctly, there was maybe 48 players in that one last year. This year they are increasing the size to 72.
Nice.
So it's a pretty
it's got to be a
jump.
Massive brewery.
Well, the thing is, the brewery is, they share a building with a rentable space.
Oh, okay.
So the brewery's on one side, and there's a big, well, kind of. I don't know what they really use it for. It's almost like it's not even that. It's just like a giant room. I think it's really, they use it for like art shows and things because there's paintings on the walls
Okay.
and different things like that. But yeah, it's it's a rentable space that they get, and it's attached to the brewery. They do have a bar in that side of the room, so it must be owned by the brewery too, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a big space, so they can bring a bunch of tables in there. Like I said, they got 72 signed up right now. But yeah, so that one's actually, what's the date of that one? Oh, April 20th.
Adam said that they have really nice food too.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, they come around and take lunch orders from all the players if you want to get something from there. It's just in a weird, not a weird spot, but in the town that it's in, it's kind of a small little area of the town, so there's not anything within like real striking distance to like go get fast food or something and come back for lunch. So we
Yeah.
just order the food right there and they bring it to you when it's ready.
I mean, it's fine as long as
Yeah,
the
it's
prices are good and the food's good.
kind of
That's
perfect actually.
yeah. That's all you really need. Um, so yeah, this will be my first time going to that one. You talked me into it, and I got the time off of work, so I think I'm gonna probably end up maybe bringing my corn army. It's what I played most of the year for this last GHB. So I'll probably just play that because I won't have this any of these newer armies done. Um, this year, my plan is to paint armies and not buy armies. So we'll see how well that works.
I mean, I have faith that you'll get some painted, but I have high doubts that you won't purchase more.
I mean, I am pretty excited about Dark Oath, but you know, I've been looking at them, and I don't know. We'll see.
The other thing that's notable about the high ground events, the guys are based out of the Detroit area, and every GT and every event they have, they try to provide a I don't know, it's not exactly a weapon, but a weapon or a piece of equipment or something like that for the actual winner.
Trophy, yeah.
Yeah. So this year they're doing. Well, last year, let me rephrase it. Last year they gave out a big Stormcast shield
Oh, that's sweet.
that they had made up. I think one of the guys is a blacksmith. I want to say.
Cool.
So they make their own thing. So it's not just like a store bought item and then they hand it to you. So someone
We need a
crafted
blacksmith
it.
for our team.
Yeah. If any blacksmiths are out there and want to join a wargaming club,
Oh man, game.
yeah, just hit us up.
Yeah, we need to.
But yeah, so anyways, they gave out a shield last year to the winner. I think Jack Callwood won last year. This year they have a giant orc gore hacka.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and they also got like second and third prizes. I think they got like little orc esque like knives or whatever stabby shit, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool that they do that. And what other we got? Oh, we got one other event on the books as of right now. This is going to be a shameless plug. It is our actual first ever event we're going to run. It's at the
Most of
local.
us are gonna play. You're gonna do most of the running unless we have.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll be the honorary TO, I guess. Originally set up so we could have a 1 day tournament to get more of our guys playing Warhammer in a tournament setting. We do have some newer players that have never been to an event before. So that's the way we were going to do it anyways, is just kind of have a little tournament at the game store. And to, I think, both of our surprises, when we started setting this up, it filled up in a day.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you did advertise it. Like you're a professional. I mean, you are. You definitely have the like the fingers out there in the community. So I feel like you kind of set us up for success as far as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, like I wanted to be able to have it accessible. I mean, in the town that I live in is where it's being held, and it's really like arm's length from all the other gaming circle of people, right? And
Detroit,
we're basically an
Toledo,
hour from everything.
Flat Rock, even like Grand Rapids isn't that far. I think you said maybe a guy from Grand
Yeah,
Rapids
one
is
of our
going to come
buddies is
down.
going to come down from Grand Rapids. Hopefully, he signed up, so we'll see. Um, that would be a little bit of a stretch for a one-day event, I would think. But maybe they. I don't think they got a very big scene out there in Grand Rapids, so he comes over here quite a bit.
Okay.
Again, we're close to Toledo,
Ann Arbor, yeah.
and we have friends or acquaintances in all of the circles of those gaming groups. So when I started advertising it out, it was just like, we had our 6 guys sign up, and then like the next day it was up to 15, and then like later on that night it was up to 19, and I'm going, I guess I don't have to advertise too much. I mean, people want to play this game, and I think for the most part, people will come out to an event if there's space for them and they're free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was I
And
thought I'd have to
it's an
plug it a lot more,
inexpensive
but
game.
yeah. But I mean, like there's enough
Like
people that want
tournament.
to play tournament setting, and so I think this is a good start for another Warhammer group to start hosting events. So that's what we're gonna do. And that one, our event is on May 25th. Right now, like I said, we're currently full, but we will. We can add more if like we don't have a wait list right now. Everybody that wanted to get in got in. I know we have one of our guys that was willing to drop if somebody else did want to get in. So we can add. It's not like we can't
Yeah,
do something.
there's a couple guys that are on our team that are totally fine with helping out with tournaments. That if we get extra people, our wait list will be accommodated. We'll make room for you to come play. It's a small shop. The guy that runs it's a really nice guy. Jake, talks to him all the time. Doesn't have a lot of Warhammer stuff right now in store. He will order it, but but the cool thing is that I think if we start to pick up some steam and have a few events there, and he sees people coming in, I think he's willing to
Yeah, yeah.
maybe carry more
He
himself. Even
talks
though
super
Jake
excited,
sells it.
and yeah, like every time I've talked to him, he's been super excited and supportive of allowing us to host events there. I mean, he's got a big back room. We're set up for 10 tables in the back. So, I mean, a 20-man tournament as our first event, I think is awesome. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, it'll be cool.
and if we can have those on a regular basis, I think we talked about it before about doing, once every 2 months to start with or something like that to get people coming. And if we can continually fill out the room, either we need to have more events or bigger events maybe down the road too. So
Yep. I know
so
me, you, and Tim have always talked about running the GT, but you kind of got to build your
yeah, I mean, there's a lot
mental
more that
really.
goes into it than just the want to, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
it's just from us setting up this little one dayer, we realize, wow, we need a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, like we got to supply mats and terrain, and um, you know, organize more prize support and things for that nature for bigger
Speak-
events.
Speaking of which, you kind of landed us a couple sponsors.
Yeah, I
We
guess
don't have any sponsors for our show, but
sure.
we have some sponsors for our tournament.
We do actually, and like I said, it's nice that we go to other events because we see these people at the events, and just getting a chat with them on a personal note lended itself into the people that we talk to have small businesses and they want to promote events, so they are willing to kick us a little bit of prize support. First one I guess we should talk about is Andy. He owns and runs Gray Matter Gaming.
Yep.
Super cool dude. He's from our local area, and I mean, you can check out his shop. Just Google Gray Matter Gaming. But he's got a bunch of stuff: mats, objective markers, movement trays. He's even got some cool 3D printed spell effect things for like Mystic Shield and Arcane Bolt, and other than just putting little tokens on the table, they're actually 3D printed like.
They kind of go around the base.
Yeah, they're shaped to go next to a model and hug it, kind of.
Yeah, they're really cool.
And he's got a new product out. Instead of just generic spells, he's got I think four or five spell effects for each of the four factions of the game. So he has a death set, a chaos set, an order set, and a destruction set.
Right.
That they introduced at Adepticon this year. So, yeah, I mean, like, I'll continue to use his stuff. It's real super nice. All of his mats and his objective markers are the neoprene mouse pad type things made out of good quality. He's got some new designs he's going to launch this summer. So,
yeah, I think I bought some of his objectives at MI GT, and then again here at Adepticon because for whatever reason, just forget to grab them. Yeah, Adam typed in graymattergaming.org in the chat. Click
Appreciate it, Adam. So like I said, Andy's a great dude. He offered to help us out when I messaged him that we were going to run our first event. Sometimes it might feel like people are unapproachable that own businesses, maybe like. But since I got to talk to him at a few different events, I didn't feel like, it was like me asking a business for any kind of favors. It was just me asking Andy, hey, we're going to run an event.
Yeah. Would
you like to, be a part of it or whatever? And he was all in. Like, it was super easy.
Yeah.
The other business that we would need to give a shout out, and I'm going to hack this name all to hell, is our friend Michelle Anderson. If anybody's been to events, she is the wife of John Anderson. They go to tons of events. They're always around. John did help TO the Adepticon event for us this year. Like I said, his wife Michelle has a Etsy shop. I'll try to pull it up and post it in here. But it's called oh gosh, I'm gonna have to see it first. Tri-Fire Treasure. No.
This is the kind of thing that you should write down.
Yeah, I should have this pulled up before. Anyways, I got it right now. So she runs an Etsy shop. She has a laser engraver, cutter. So she has things like objective markers cut out of the clear thin acrylic style. She also does stickers. She does terrain bases, like clear terrain bases, so you can clearly see where like the terrain would be. So you can glue underneath the bottom of a terrain piece, and then just have it on the board. But they're clear, so you can see through your mat. See your mat.
Yeah.
Also, she's been introducing a new product that's a set of measuring sticks.
Okay.
And she can do those in acrylic or wood. And it's like, you get like 2 9-inch sticks, an 8, a 7, a 6, a 5.
Sure.
A 3. Sets like that are in a wood carved thing, so all your sticks have a space that they fit into. The case magnets together so that you don't lose your sticks. So it's real convenient for travel and going to events, and then you got all your sticks in one place instead of fumbling around like I do with all your 3-inch little sticks everywhere, your 9-inchers. And so one of our buddies, Nick, actually ordered some of those from her, and she can do custom engraving on them. So he got our Old Man Gaming name printed right on there. If you go to her site, it's actually, and now that I'm looking at it, she displays the Old Man Gaming set that she made for Nick.
Oh, nice.
So if you hover over the third item in her Etsy shop, it plays a little video of the measuring sticks and how they come out of the block there, and it's actually the Old Man Gaming branded sticks. So
Nice.
big shout out to Michelle. She offered to put us a little package together to give out at our event too. So, like I said, Gray Matter Games and Michelle's Etsy store. TIE Pirates Treasures. Did I say that right?
That's pretty close. That's how I would say it is.
Yeah.
Just get in the chat and click the link.
Yeah, it's in there.
We'll put it in the show notes on YouTube when we get
Yeah.
get it saved down there.
So those two, big shout out to both of them.
And while you're clicking things, you should click to subscribe on YouTube and also click the like button. Leave us a comment. You know, all the things. We're just starting out here, but you know, let your friends know to come and check us out because that's what we're hoping to do, is kind of do this every couple of weeks and talk about things that matter to us in the game and hopefully to you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know we talked a little bit before about having about an hour show. We're going to run long today. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it's our
first one we had to do a bunch of introduction stuff and whatever at the beginning. But I mean, we're at okay time. We'll probably be about 30 minutes over, I would venture to say.
We got a lot to talk about because we're going to talk about 4th edition next.
That's true.
Rumors and discussion, and there's a hefty portion. Now that's going to get shorter now that we're a couple weeks into rumors.
Yeah, I mean, we can touch base with it. Do we got anything else to get off the plate before we get into that?
We have some friends running. Isn't Actual Trash War Gaming?
Oh yeah, that's very true. Actual Trash War Gaming started up by our close friend Clay and his group of guys. They are running an event, an actual GT that they're running down in Lexington, Kentucky. This upcoming, is it up? Oh shit, it's this weekend.
Oh
no, next weekend. Next weekend. This weekend.
It's full, but we thought we would just mention it.
Yep. 13th of April. He's got a 32-man GT running. So shout out to those guys down there. We got to meet up with them at a couple of events so far this last year. Great dudes. Nothing but good things to say about all those guys.
I played.
You played Anthony, right?
Yep. It was a great game. Nice guy. Had a lot of fun. So
those guys get an event coming up on April 13th. If there are any drops from that, just watch out for it on BCP. It's called Trash Clash in the Bluegrass. Fuck me.
I heard there's going to be some big names in that tournament as well, besides just Clay and his crew.
That's true. There may be a group of guys that run a YouTube channel kind of like this one. But slightly more popular, that might be there. But yeah, man, I was a little bit sad we couldn't get down to that one, but it was basically right after Adepticon. So that's the reasons.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll get to one of their events.
But yeah, they're going to run some more events and bigger GTs, so we'll definitely get down there for those guys. Other than that, there is one other event that I did find.
Go on sale also? Or is that what you're going to talk about?
No, another local event.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Upkeep Games has a couple stores in our area, one in Howell and then one in Ann Arbor, I think it is.
maybe.
Upkeep. Do you remember?
I don't know that. I don't remember that store in Ann Arbor, but I don't know.
I can't remember if it's Ann Arbor, but I know there's one in Howell because this is the event that they put
I
up.
go to Golden Rhino and then just the GW store in Ann
Oh, okay.
Arbor. Golden Rhino's over in Ipsy, so run by Ian, one of the best guys
Right.
ever.
Yep. Hopefully, when they have some events, we'll be able to make it up there too.
Yeah.
But anyway, this one is at Upkeep Games. Their shop up in Howell. It's on May 11th. They currently have 6 people signed up. I'm sure that they can hold more. So if you're looking for another one-day event in May, that will maybe give you some practice before our event. That one might be a good one to. Yeah, I mean, like, hey, you want to test out a list before you come down? Yeah, so Upkeep Games is holding the tournament May 11th, so you can check them out.
All right, so I think that's it for events. So let's just move on to what we all came here for. Let's talk about Fourth. So I'm going to hit you with a bunch of the different things that we found so far. We've been keeping a pretty close eye on it, you and I. I think we're both equally pretty excited about it. So the first thing on our list is indexing. This is your first indexing, so I wanted to get your take and what you thought about the situation.
Yeah, I did set up a scene that we could use if you want to, that we can show. I got the Warcom website pulled up.
Sure.
And we can just go through the articles quick. I mean, we don't have to spend a ton of time on them. Well, I mean, we can. Whichever one you want, we can pull up the article and at least show the artwork that they posted and talk about it, whatever.
Okay, well, then you just tell me what the article says, because I don't think I can see that unless it comes up. Are you going to show it to me on my screen too?
No. You can just pull up the stream, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, it's not that big a deal. The
hard to work out.
I guess going back in time, the first bit of 4th edition news would be the introduction of the new Stormcast chamber in the release video, right?
Yeah, the Adepticon, which was kind of a long.
It was a bit of a drag. I'm not gonna lie. However, it was packed full of not just trailers, but like interviews and things with all of the game designers for the different announcements that they had. So I mean, it wasn't like it was bad. Like, we were only there for one thing, but whatever, it's what it is. Well, they have to promote all that stuff.
But yeah, I mean, so like new, what is it, Retribution, or what is the
Ruination Chamber?
Ruination Chamber.
So yeah, Sigmar lied, I guess. Something like that.
Lied about living forever. Apparently, you lose a little bit of soul every time you die.
So I think that concept is interesting, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like through the launch trailer and all that, they basically show the same Stormcast person character dying over and over and over, and then towards the end of the thing, it was almost like she doesn't have any soul left. She's just a straight badass or whatever. Like, I don't know what they build into, but so we're getting a new chamber. I'm gonna guess with a new range of models in the launch box, along with new Skaven, because that was in the trailer too.
Yep.
So the Skaven are coming to claim their spot in the mortal realms.
The video showed like the Skaven city, or the green, whatever it is, the Warpstone city or whatever, coming up out of the ground. And it looks like, from what I understand, it's going to happen in every realm. So Skaven are going to be big in this edition, it seems like. So they are, Blight City. Thank you, Logan. So they're like,
and they needed it, right? They needed model refresh. Like they
models from the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, like you're talking about an army that still had old, small, little pewter models, and compared to the stuff that they're releasing now. It's like night and day.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I have prints that I've made for some of those models because you can't even get a hold of those old pewter models, or
Yeah.
they might be $15 for like one model, and I can print,
Yeah.
a few.
So, anyways, that's the launch trailer introduced a few new things that are upcoming, which they've elaborated into more now.
Yeah.
Now, what they did touch on too is the next article that they published was, what does it mean when we switch into 4th edition for all of your battle tomes? It means that they don't exist.
Yeah.
You
Welcome to Mark. Welcome to
might
GW.
as well catch all your shit on fire
I
because
mean,
it doesn't, like, unless you like the art, you still have the books. If you have the
I want
physical
to play
books,
3rd edition.
yeah, sure,
I mean,
sure,
that's not how I do it.
yeah,
I'm not like into narrative necessarily. Like if somebody invited me to play in like a Path to Glory or something, I'd be down. But I mean, we pretty much play like tournament style stuff, and so that's just the most current stuff, and so that's more what we're
yeah,
into.
and it's fine. Like, well, this part is fine. Okay, all the old books go away, and all the new rules are going to be free.
Well, until the books come out.
But to start, it's like you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't have another book coming out for another year. Now I can't play my army or something.
Right.
They've said it's going to be an index edition, which they're going to provide via PDFs digitally for free for
Yep.
all armies.
Yep.
They will also provide all of the core rules in PDFs for free. Everything is free. There is no, you can't play 4th edition unless you have the core rulebook or any of that. It's all going to be issued for free, so there's no worry about leading into 4th edition about what you can or can't play.
Yeah.
But since they're overhauling the core rules, they had to eliminate all current rules in every army.
Yeah.
And that also means new war scrolls for every unit. Thoughts?
I mean, they say they're gonna make the models, give them wounds and give them abilities. So they
Health
seem
now?
like, well, health, whatever. So they seem like what the actual model should have. So,
Yeah.
like, not trying to maybe necessarily only balance it versus each other or inside the book, but if the model looks like it's a tough model, theoretically, it's going to have more wounds and be tougher. I guess that's what they mean. It's hard to really know exactly. It's kind of vague, but also maybe hopeful. I
Well,
don't know.
I think part of that, what the game designers were talking about, is they got the physical models out, and they placed them next to each other and said, how tough is this guy versus this guy?
Yeah.
Right? And they based it off the model range and not just, hey, this guy is going to have X amount of wounds because we just wrote the rule for it. So
Right.
it's like when you look at the table, you'll be able to tell, like, this dude's a big monster, he's tough. This guy's a little foot troop, he is not, or something like that. That's the way I understood it.
I kind of do too. I kind of do too. Yeah.
So that's kind of an exciting way to write the rules based off your models. I mean, it's a model producing company.
Well, they're also a book producing company. If you look at them, they're one of the biggest publishers in the world. I feel like.
Oh well, with the
And they write books.
yeah,
constantly.
sure, but you know what I mean. Like if you're selling your game, and the models are your game,
Right. I mean,
That's-
people play GW games because they walk in a store, look at the models, go, "That's badass."
right. So that's part of the new rule system in the battle tomes. As far as the actual rules go, there's another twist, right?
Okay.
So they talk about rewriting all the rules, and in doing so, I have the graphic pulled up right now that shows all of the different modular rule sets.
Yeah.
So you will have core rules like you would anytime.
Right.
They do have 6 other advanced rules broke out into different sections. they do have another map that I should be able to show you soon. But basically, like if somebody got new into the game, and we've talked about this before too, and I think it was a little bit of a learning curve for me when you got me into the game was, here's all the freaking rules. You better know them all. Like what you can do in every phase. There's nuances of like
It takes
command
most
point spending, and yeah, there's just a lot up front.
Yeah.
And even if you try to teach someone just basic phases of game, but then it just expands. Every phase expands and expands, and there's more things to learn. And then, learning what all the other armies do is complex. So at least this way, they broke it down to where it's a little simpler to say, "Hey, we're gonna run a game, so I can teach you the core game
Yeah.
with, any number one of these modular rule sets." So it's an easier way to learn the game.
Right. That's the idea.
Yeah. Now whether it ends up being like that, who knows? But I think I kind of like that idea.
I feel like with their spearhead thing, they're only going to use like the way they talk. Spearhead is like their new sets they're coming out, and it's going to
Yeah.
be like
Well, actually, this is what it is right here. On the screen here, we got how the spearhead versus the other ways to play the game is going to be broke out via the different rule packs.
right.
So, yeah, like you said, spearhead is just core rules.
Yeah.
According to this, right?
So like I know they're planning on running some tournaments with that. So like newer players, it's going to be like a newer player thing. They'll go and they'll take just their box. I know Logan's saying that that's kind of the way he taught people to play at the game room in Toledo, and so he's just excited that they're actually coming up with actual strategy to teach people that way, and so yeah, I think that's exactly right. And then I think like you can add on things as you want, or if like, oh, I want to play a short game tonight, let's play with just this set of rules.
Yeah.
And then I think if you're going to tournaments, you're still playing with all of it. There might be little bits and pieces, like a lot of tournaments don't always use like the terrain dice and things like that. So that might not be part of the game per se at certain tournaments, but for the most part, I feel like the tournament directors will probably use most of the rules.
Yeah, I think so too, because of the way, at least the way they have this in this graphic, if you're going to play matched play, which we do, right? Tournament play is matched play. All of the module or rule sets are included in matched play.
Right.
The only twist to that, I guess, would be the General's Handbook, but that's just a seasonal edition of rules that would go on top of match play rules. Yeah. So I don't think anything really changes as far as like we're not going to be missing out on any sets of rules when we play match play at events going forward. It's like it's just basically like I guess the premise of Spearhead was every army is going to have a Spearhead box, right? You buy the box, you can play Spearhead.
And it's balanced against the other Spearhead boxes.
Sure. I mean, I hope so, right? Yeah. I hope it's just, hey, I buy a box of something to start a new army, maybe, and you buy a new box of something, and we can play a couple games of Spearhead to test it out.
Yeah.
And then you can build from there with the other box sets or whatever.
I think that's the concept.
Yeah. I think it's smart. They should have probably done that years ago.
Well, and I think that aging myself a little bit, going back to Fantasy Battles, like that was an old game with a huge learning curve, way more complicated. I mean, the old world now is pretty close. They even tried to make that a little simpler, but I mean, going back that far, it was just a really completely different game, and I think that it put off a lot of people with the huge army sizes and the huge rule book. I mean, it was 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. And so people were like, I can't even bother. Whereas now they're trying to make this more beginner friendly and just user friendly, get a all sorts of crowd involved, And so I think this will be really good to get people in the door for people that work in stores like Logan or whoever, and they can be like, hey, let me show you this game. Or they say, hey, I want to check out this game. Can you show me? And then Logan can show them this game with a set amount of models, and it's quick, and he doesn't have to be taken away from the store for too long or whatever have you. And I think that really that's
Sure.
best. I mean, anytime that I feel like you get more people involved when they see you playing it right in the store,
Yeah.
because people
I
come
agree.
walking through and they're like, oh, what are you doing? What's this game? And they ask you questions, and then there's people like you that'll talk their ear off, and there's people like me that'll turn around and pretend they didn't hear them. So I mean, but I mean, that's the idea, is to try to get as many people involved as possible, because I mean, it makes more money for the stores, and then also makes your scene bigger, and you make more friends. So
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
that's the whole point.
Yeah, and I think you made a nice point too. I think it's going to be easier for game stores to sell the game with the
Yeah.
spearhead. Like, I would imagine in a scenario when you walk into a store and you say, "Well, Age of Sigmar looks cool because the models are nice or whatever," right? And someone's like, "How would I even get started into this game? It looks like there's a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of models, there's big ranges of models. But if a store can say, I will show you. We have spearhead boxes that we built for the store,
And we painted them up, and they look
and
nice.
they're sitting there on the shelf in display or whatever, and you go, I'll just pull this out and I'll set you up with something. We're going to play basic rules, and then you get to play with the models, right? Like that's the whole point.
Playing with toy soldiers.
That's the whole point of this whole hobby, right?
Yeah.
So I think that'd be cool. Hopefully, maybe make that happen, Logan. Get Daryl to have a few of the boxes built up, and
He usually builds up the starter sets, but you never see you don't see a lot of people playing. But that's what I was going to say, is like for stores like our house that don't have a ton of stock, it might be
Yeah.
easier than just, instead of carrying just random BS like he seems to do,
Yeah, you
having
can
a
just-
couple spearheads, and then
Yep.
having a couple for the store. And he's mentioned wanting to learn also, so having maybe a spearhead or something for the store to teach, I think that would be perfect for a small store like him, where he doesn't have a lot of product, but he wants to have people come on in, and that would be really cool for
Yeah.
him too.
yeah, I should talk to him about that because it makes total sense. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if the store purchase is a box, and what do they retail for? 150 or 120 or something for a box of those, or something like that.
Probably 120. I think who knows what the price is going to be when they come out. And we're waiting for Logan to answer.
I know he's about to put the price in there.
Yeah. He says he's working on the FEC one.
Yep.
And then he's going to find another one for some people, so he can, do some teaching games, which is cool. And I'm sure he bought the FEC one, so he'll just run that himself, part of his army. But I mean, as long as you know what's in the army, or you can see the thing on the board, you can go, okay, this is what I need.
Yeah.
And you just take those out of your collection, you can play it
Right.
anytime.
And I think the first 3 were already announced and pre-sold, right? They're actually out right now, or did he just get
40? Logan said 140.
140? Okay, so they have FEC with a spearhead box. They have Cities of Sigmar, and there's a third one. Now I'm blanking.
Stormcast? Is it the Stormcast?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, yes, it is.
It's like
Stormcast with
or whatever,
Yandrasta
the-
and a chariot and some
Yeah. I mean, you
Vindictors
can't
or
go wrong
something.
with the Stormcast Chariot. It's my favorite model in their entire range.
So, and also it should be noted that you don't have to buy these spearhead boxes to play spearhead, as long as you have the models already or whatever that come in the box. You have a spearhead army, right?
I may try an event if they do one at like a Depthcon or something one year. I might jump in it just because I
Sure.
have the
I mean, it's going to be a quick 1 day thing, I think.
3 games
Yeah.
for fun.
So, anyways, that's the modular rule sets that they're gonna go forward with, which I think, like I said, that it'll make things a little simpler. I think
Maybe for education.
Yeah. Next order of business would be they gave us some information about how the new priority roll is going to work. Very interesting, I think, especially in a tournament setting.
Yeah.
It's going to be played way different than your casual game at a store. or with friends, because it's. I think they make it a little bit more dynamical and impactful to choose when or when not to take a double turn.
Yeah.
So I guess this is kind of the basic overview of how the double turn will work going forward. Before it was if each player rolled off every round, and the winner of the roll won priority, which gave you the choice of either taking the turn or giving your opponent first turn.
Yep. And that's not going to change.
Right. That stays the same. However, there is going to be penalties or a penalty. Right. If you decide, if you win priority and take the double turn, you are going to not. You're not going to have the opportunity to pick a battle tactic if you take the double turn.
It's pretty big.
So you're automatically losing out on whatever the scoring is. Right now it's 2 points for battle tactics.
So we'll assume at least at this point that that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. So very interesting, I think, in the concept of how do you want to play a game, because before it was like you could take the double turn and just try to do a bunch of damage and then outscore your opponent because you're set yourself up for a couple good turns in a row.
Right.
Now you're not going to score well if you take a double, so you better do it strategically.
Yeah.
Maybe in like if you're kind of set up to either be able to deny tactics going forward for your opponent, or do you have the opportunity to really put the screws to them and take a lot of their models off the table?
Yeah, like is it going to be like, do you get this double turn and do you just hammer them, and do they have nothing left, so you're going to be able to just eventually just score enough points anyways? I mean, there's a lot of things to think about going into that double turn at this point.
Yeah, and if you take the double turn, you better know that you're winning the game.
Yeah.
Because you can't. We've played enough games of Warhammer now that if you drop a tactic, and that's essentially what this is, you choose to drop a tactic. It could be over. I mean, if your opponent never drops a tactic, and you both get your grand strat, you lose, because most times,
Yeah.
right? Like if you can't prevent your opponent from scoring tactics or enough of the primary points, and it's an even enough game throughout, then you just lost the game because you chose not to score 2 points.
Yeah. There's also really no word on whether if your opponent makes you take a double turn, if that'll be against you. There's been discussion about it.
Yeah,
the shows. I don't think they'll go that route.
I think they worded it in a way in their article that basically said if you give your opponent the double turn, then you're still able to score normal.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
which would make sense, right?
Well, right. But there's discussion. We watch a lot of shows on YouTube, and it's been discussed. So obviously, it's not 100% clear.
Yeah,
and that could be some shady business in tournaments.
Yeah, like I'm sure they'll put clear rules out, about that.
Everything in these articles is pretty.
Yeah, it's just vague stuff to like tease you about some things.
Get the juices flowing.
So new priority roll, impactful decisions you need to make. Yep. Which I actually think is the best way to do that. I know a lot of people hated the double turn because they felt like it was an unfair mechanic.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe what this is about. Like, there's a lot of 40K players that think, going first and, gives you that advantage, and then you should, take turn after turn.
Yeah.
And they think, playing that way is more fair because at least you know when you're going to go. But this, I for one love the double turn. I've lost to it. Like we played the other night, and you absolutely smashed me because of the double turn. And it's just part of the game. But I think that they're thinking by making it a little bit like having a little incentive, maybe not to take the double turn. Then you might get some of them players to cross over.
Sure. I mean, it curves some of that hatred for it off, I think, because there is a penalty.
Yeah, but honestly, if you know how to use the double turn,
Oh, hey,
I
like,
doubled, I may stay back, or I may get the double, but you can't necessarily count on it. There's always, I
yeah,
mean, go second.
sure. I mean, hey, look, when the actual trash guys watch this back, and I know it's a little bit late for them to stay up, whatever. They're a little.
Yeah, we started a little late tonight.
Yeah, it was a little late, but plus they're old guys and they go to bed
Oh.
early. Anyways, there has been heated discussions about the the hatred of double turns in their Discord. I mean, like paragraphs of stuff was just scrolling one day, and I went, "Whoa!" Yeah, some people are pissed about double turns. So I mean, I get it. Some people are just they have their opinions about it, but hopefully, like, the change to this maybe it doesn't even happen in games. There will be games where people just don't take it, right? If it's a really close score and you don't think that you can, even by taking the double turn and going down a couple points, if you don't think you can outpoint your opponent, you just won't take it.
Yeah, and it might be like a late game thing, like turn 4 going into 5, and I roll the double. Then I might go, okay, if I do this double, I
then
wipe
you
them,
right, then you score
4.
0 next turn, right?
Right.
Or whatever.
That's
right.
when you're looking at it, right? Because like early on, like you could do that, and you don't have any idea how this game's going to go unless you're like absolutely demolishing, like our game the other night. You might not take that double turn because like you could then get shut down on it. You could flub 1 or 2 tactics and lose the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be a little bit more of a scary decision to take.
Yeah, it may take a little longer than just going, oh, yes, I rolled a 6, you rolled a 1. Cool, I'm going.
Right, yeah.
That's the way it is right now. I mean, it's not, but
it is. Well, and I think, too, competitive players, maybe top table players, would more often give it away. So they're not limited in their scoring throughout the game.
Yeah. So then they're not. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So there's that to look forward to. What do we got next? The other stuff about 4th edition. Sure. Why not? They actually released photos of new Liberators.
Pretty sweet models.
I'm not going to lie. The poses of these dudes are fantastic.
Yeah. Nice looking models.
And I know they're in that the same armor as the Vindicators or the Vindictors right now. I get that, but these guys are posed in like battle ready poses. Yeah. They're not just standing there with their hammer raised up in the air or whatever. These guys are like fighting dudes, right?
Yep.
So,
I know that. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I like the armor set that they're in. I do like the art that they put forward. It's not the all golden Stormcast models that they normally put.
Silver.
E says the helmets suck. I actually thought for a minute like this is different.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the smooth domed.
Like they got the thing that comes down over the nose on the new ones. Yeah, I don't think they were on the old ones.
They weren't, and they got like little studs on them and stuff. Whatever, rivets. Yeah. I think it actually looks kind of like more badass, like a more battle hardened design rather than like the smooth good boy Stormcast helmets of old, right? I mean, that's my take on it. Anyways, I think the models are cool. Yeah.
I think they're cool. I think I watched Honest Wargamer the other night, and he had posted, or he was talking about them, and he had said you could just use what's the ones from the last edition, Vindictors or whatever. I don't play a lot of Stormcast. The ones with the spears.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could just chop that spear off, and eBay has lots of hammers for sale, cheap. And you could just throw a hammer on it, and then you have yourself some converted libs. And the other thing is that GW has said, like, there's no reason you can't use your old Liberators.
True. Yep.
And so, like, if you're like, oh, this is a cash grab and you don't want to spend money on models you already have, you don't have to. You already have them painted, they're already done up. Or you can get some of the new ones and just bolster and like mix and match. They're all Liberators,
Yeah, I
right?
mean,
So,
all the Stormcast dudes are basically look the same, anyways. I mean, realistically, you got them all on the table. It aside from the weapons that they carry, right?
yep.
All the foot troops are basically the same dude. Um, you know, whether it be any type of the what do they call them? Redeemer units, or all the foot troops guys. I mean, they don't even start changing it until you get into like the paladin style guys that are a little larger.
But we'll
Yep.
talk about paladins in a little bit.
Yep. There's some new
Sequitors.
ones. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fine. Like it's a Stormcast dude in some armor, and they look cool. I'm a fan of this. I mean, like, I have a healthy Stormcast collection, so I'll probably get. I'm sure these guys will be in the starter box, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they were in the
Um,
very first starter box, so I'm sure they will be in this one too.
I think the only thing that could be said about them that I've heard through, I think Warhammer Weekly on their show this week, they said that these guys are not part of the new Ruination Chamber.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
They're just new Liberators.
which is totally fine.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, I when I bought a bunch of Stormcast dudes, I had like 40 Vindictors in a lot that I bought.
You
20 of which I cut the spears off of.
Yeah.
And made them carry swords. So guess what? I guess I got a bunch of Liberators.
Yeah, although it doesn't
You know.
look like maybe Liberators have swords yet. But
Well, I mean, like, it doesn't matter,
haven't
right?
shown it.
It doesn't
Yeah, it
matter.
doesn't matter. Models are models. You're right. Shoot, I was thinking I was going to say something. I totally forgot. It doesn't matter now.
Oh, okay. So they do have in the article about the new Liberators the side by sides of the old Liberators, the new Liberators in the middle, and then the Vindictors next to them, so you can kind of see how the armor sets are.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? Like the shields changed into the Vindictor shields basically, and they took off the spears and gave them hammers and changed the heads.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty much the same thing, right?
It could even be partly the same kits. You never know.
Well, yeah, maybe that's sure. I mean, they've done that plenty of times, right? Here's a kit, build one of two ways, or whatever.
Or like they only get built one way, but then they put out another kit and they just take the body portion out of that one, put it in this one.
The other thing, the one more thing that I did hear, and I don't know where they sourced this from, but it also was from the Warhammer Weekly show this week, was that the Liberator kit will come with the new helmets, right? And also heads instead of helmets.
Oh, so you can roll
So you could,
naked heads.
yeah, you could. Yeah, I was gonna say helmetless, but naked heads works.
Yeah, same difference.
So yeah. So anyways, you have options for heads on those two. So I think that's whatever. I mean, it should be that way, right? You should be able to express the way you want your guys armored out.
Sure, if you don't like the helmets.
I think we got just a couple more articles to go through about the upcoming 4th edition stuff. One of which is being since everything's getting redone.
Yep.
Right, for 4th edition. Also begs the question: how do I build a list? How do I build a list in 4th edition? Well, guess what? They told us. They told us how. So in the new edition, this is how you build a list, and it's basically centered around heroes.
Right.
Right. The hero that you pick to select into your army does one thing, aside from what the hero does as far as War Scroll does. List building wise, it opens up your troop units.
Right.
So a hero will be keyword locked, or however they're going to do it, on the scroll that says, if you take this hero, these are the units that go in the hero's regiment. And then that regiment is 1 drop.
Yep. And if it's your general, they get what, 4 units?
Yeah,
Up to 4 units. And
yeah,
a regular character has up to 3.
right. So your hero you pick, then you get 0 to 3 non-hero units. So any troop or whatever. If the hero is your general, then you get 0 to 4 non-hero units. So right, so it's simple. Like, okay, I want to take this hero because this hero opens up. Let's just say liberators,
Sure.
for argument's sake. I can take 3 units of liberators and this hero in a regiment, and that's a drop. Right?
Easy enough.
You cannot double reinforce your units anymore.
Nope, only 1 reinforcement.
So it's going to change how armies play, especially mine. Like
No,
if anybody double reinforced their battle line units, because that's the only ones you could use with that before, is if they were battle line, you could double reinforce, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it's going to limit the unit size of your units. I mean, that's essentially what it's going to do.
Yeah, maybe. They also could, particular horde type units, they could put a keyword in there on their scroll that says they're a horde type unit. They would allow for that. They haven't said that, so I mean, that's just.
I mean, we also don't know if
the
new war scrolls change the unit sizes in general.
Sure.
Whoever, whatever. Like, there's a lot of question marks.
Right.
But notable to say, you cannot just straight double reinforce your units anymore.
Right. At this point.
Also, they did say that in this article that some heroes will unlock the addition of extra heroes. So, if you had like a higher ranking hero, they could take sub heroes or however sub commanders or whatever that they call them now in their regiment itself. So there is a way to, like, it's not just say I got this one hero, he can only take this one troop unit, and now I got to pick a different hero to take this other troop unit. There's still customization when it comes to list building.
Right.
But it's just structured in a way that's a little bit easier to. I mean, there's no more battalions, there's no more battle line, there's no more army roles for that matter. All of that little stuff is taken out.
It seems like, yeah.
And
did
you
they
just
that article, or you just
no, it is. That's because the regiment is now what you get.
Right.
So
there's auxiliary stuff too.
Yeah, and I was just about to find that. Yeah, here's the breakdown of it. So alongside of your regiments that you can take with your heroes, if you take another unit that does not go into a hero's regiment, then it becomes what is called, they call it now, an auxiliary unit.
Right.
And those are single drops outside of your regiments. So if you had I know people are losing their minds, the Skaven dudes, are about doom wheels. Because before it was artillery or it was whatever piece, and you were limited on how many you could take.
Right.
And they were never battle lines, so it couldn't unlock them to run more than 4 or whatever if you wanted to. Yeah. Now, if you had a hero, and they have keyword doom wheel, however they say it, you could have a hero and some doom wheels in a regiment. And then if you just want to, you just take more doom wheels as auxiliary units. As far as I know, they haven't came up with anything that limits you taking certain amount of unit types.
Yeah.
Right. It could be, but as it stands right now, it's kind of up in the air.
40K has a limit of like a rule of 3 is what the rule is. So anything except for, like, in their game, I think it's like battle line and transports can be more than 3, maybe up to 6 or something. But everything else, you can only have 3 of each type of unit. So they could add that into any old GHB, and then all of a sudden you're stuck behind that. But they haven't mentioned it yet. There's, again, like we said, it's pretty much just a bunch of rumors, and like they give you little bits, and they're like, okay, go out there and tear each other apart talking about this. So all of it's up in the air at this point. But yeah, and then I think there's like that's the way they're going to keep the regiments around renowned in, with the special rules for that. So there may be special rules, like if you take certain characters as a person, a leader of a battalion, you may also get some kind of rules or something as far as that battalion goes, if they bring certain units. So we'll see. I mean, it'd
Yeah.
be interesting if they said like you bring like a unit of libs, and then like whatever the commander for that is. And if you have that guy and 2 units of liberators in that battalion, then all of a sudden your guys count as 2 on an objective or
Oh,
something.
right. Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. Like
And
just
that's
a little bit of a special rule to kind of tweak things. It'd
yeah.
be kind of,
And I think that opens up the door for them to be able to fine tune the game a little bit more than right now. It's just like, oh, we'll just change the points, right?
Right.
Because they never really change war scrolls or how things function really. They do a little bit in FAQ, but most times they're just like, oh, this unit's too powerful, we'll just up the points or whatever. But this way they can change tweaks like that, and then either you're restricting an army from doing an egregious thing, or you're letting them do a little bit more than what they could prior or whatever. But anyways, so that's how the composition of the army is going to work.
Yep, as it is, me and Logan are both going to play each other with just one Scryer Warlock and a bunch of Doom Wheels, and it's just going to be a bunch of race cars going around the board.
Yeah, just zoom. That would be so badass to see. So the other thing that they mentioned in this article, or a couple things actually, is there's no more sub-factions.
Yep.
The sub-factions are now what they call battle formations, and I guess it's supposed to more resemble a fighting style of an army. So like now you're not going to have like little factions of your army that maybe like look a different way, or
you can paint your stuff however you want. You don't have to feel bad about it because characters wearing the wrong colors or something like that.
It's right. I mean, that's part of it. I know people touched on that before. It was like, you should paint your stuff however you want. But now at least it's like you're not locked into some sub-faction that...
You're not just Hammers of Sigmar because you took this special character. Yeah. Or if you take this, this faction, all of a sudden this guy doesn't get to use any of the special rules because he's Hammers of Sigmar and these guys are,
right,
striking scorpions or whatever. I don't know.
To that, they did mention also, like, how you would build out your heroes and then like your general would get a command trait.
Yeah.
Guess what? Command traits can go on any hero now.
Oh, I think I read that. That's interesting.
So you know what I mean? If you pick a general and you don't want him to be the guy you load out with all the extra perks, you just pick a different guy.
Well, and it lets you bring like your big generals as your general
that stand back and just yeah.
Like, so, like for instance, Nagash. I want to play with Nagash, but I want to give a command trait to somebody. Well, I want to play with command traits too, so I can't bring Nagash as my general. Well, that doesn't really make sense. Nagash rolling in an army and not being the general. So then you can at least take a command trait with somebody else. So
yeah. So I mean, like, that's going to be cool. The way that they're going to allow you like a little bit more flexibility on command traits and artifacts and things. I think all that's good for list building. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I would really like them to head towards kind of what they do in the old world, where items cost points, and they can tweak that a little bit.
They could do that.
As it is right now. I mean, they're not going to, I don't think, but like as it is right now, if an item's too powerful, they just go, oh, it's changed to this, and it's completely different, and then it's useless, right?
Well, right. As soon as they change the wording of as soon as they change the wording, everyone goes, well, I'll never use that again.
Right. Whereas if they were just like, oh, this is in every army, well, let's crank it up by 50 points. Now all of a sudden you're going to have to
you pay for it because you want it.
You're not going to maybe bring that in your army, And so I think that I would like them to go that direction, and they could adjust points on characters and things for that, just to make it so you could fit certain things in.
Yep.
But right now they want it to be super easy, and so it seems like they're going to continue to just do things by, you get one of these, you get two of these,
Yep.
and blah blah blah, and that's fine, I guess.
Well,
Um,
I think they probably have to do it that way, leading into a new edition where everything's brand new for everyone. Is
well, I don't know. The
simplicity.
old world has everything. I mean, they
Well,
paid,
what I mean is like if you're gonna, well, sure,
and
I
that's a
guess,
brand new game,
yeah,
right?
I guess so. But if you're gonna change the
It's not
rules
an
up
old
of a current game and go, okay, now everything's different, at least
game.
make it simple enough to where you everyone doesn't have this massive learning curve to get back into playing the game competitively like we do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not
Um,
competitively.
well, I mean, we try.
We go to competitive events.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this will be a good time for new people to learn with the spearheads and with like I was telling my oldest son Logan that this is his time to come back. He played in second and then didn't play at all really in third. And I'm like, everyone's going to be learning new rules. Now it's the time.
Yeah.
So come on in. And so hopefully he'll start playing again. And I play with Ethan all the time right now, but it is what it is. Like Logan's a busy dude. He's, college boy now. So, but hopefully it makes a little time to hang out with dad and play some
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, I'd like to teach him how to play the game too.
Yeah.
I
There you
mean,
go.
you know,
Smash his face.
I didn't say it. You did. You did it. Yeah, it's. I think it's deserving. He's deserving
Yeah.
of a
Oh,
good
no,
ass
he's
whooping
definitely-
here and there.
if anybody is, it's him.
Uh,
I did teach him to play third the other night. We played probably about a week ago, and he beat my ass with fucking Stormcast. I was
oh
playing
shit!
right before Adepticon. I was like, Jesus, I'm bringing these fucking skeletons in, I'm gonna lose, and I did. So
Nice.
but yeah, good kid.
Ha. Wow.
What's
I think you avoided telling me that.
I just thought of
The only part of this article that is the last bit of it that's notable for list building, anyways, is if you build your list to be less drops than your opponent, you will get one extra command point per battle round.
Oh, that's hot.
So as far as the other things about command points that they've said, each army starts with 5 command points for the game. Period. No more additional command points via a heroic action, your sub-faction abilities, your cheating army OBR. None of that. It all goes away.
And then
Every army gets 5 command points, and you choose when to use them. However, if you outdrop your opponent, you'll get an additional command point every battle round.
that's a huge advantage.
It
There's
is.
gotta
I
be
mean,
something.
and maybe
gotta-
there's other ways that they're going to be able to introduce something
yeah.
that can counter that a little bit.
I mean, in
because-
essence, if you outdrop your opponent, that means you get 10 command points and they get 5. And like
Yeah.
if command points are the way they are right now, like you use some turns you don't use any, some turns you use 3. Like
well,
you
that's what I mean.
all
Like,
out defense a couple times, you went all out offense.
yeah, you're just gonna have to be able to play, like counter play, not having as many command points to deal with your opponent's command points. Now, and maybe you use command points in a different way going into 4th. I mean, I
Yeah,
know they
we have
did mention the
I thought they said there was going to be more stuff to use them on though.
yeah, like
Giving you
counter,
options.
like more counter play things.
Yeah.
Like you can charge your opponent in their charge phase, or you can cast a spell in your opponent's phase. Shit like that is like, whoa, this is going to change the way I think about how my opponent's turn is going to go. Like,
Right.
because before it was like, you kind of just waited for a redeploy, right? Or you chose your unit that you wanted to all-out defense.
Or all out attack, yeah.
Right. And I mean, those were the main choices. Now it's like, I could charge him with my unit if he charges over here, and then I'll lock that guy up in combat. There's a lot of different plays, so maybe it'll be a little interesting going forward with that.
Yeah, being able to move in your opponent's turn is huge. Ask anybody that plays corn.
Yeah, and I've played enough games against your corn, and I still forget that you can do it.
Yeah,
It's like an unnatural thing,
right.
you know.
Should be every army from here on
Oh
out.
yeah, and if that's going to be a universal thing, that is just going to be something you have to think about, which is
That's
kind of
wild.
neat. Yeah. Moving on, the last article that they published, actually yesterday, if I'm looking at this right, April 4th.
Technically, it's 12:51 or 12:52.
Oh, that's true. I guess it was today. I guess whatever.
We have a slip.
Yeah. This is the big news. This is the big shocker. What's leaving Age of Sigmar in the model ranges?
Yeah.
Get
There's,
ready. Get fucking ready, boys. And you better
there's a
have your
lot of drama
seatbelts
about this
on.
one.
Holy shit. I couldn't keep up with Discord messages today. I
Yeah.
just couldn't. Like, there's no way. You know, we're in a handful of Discords with our buddies, and every Discord was just scrolling
Yeah.
this.
Facebook,
So,
same thing. Every group I'm in, there's a new post about it. 30 people complaining, 20 people trying to pat them on the butt, tell them it's going to be okay.
yeah. And I mean, like, yeah, Twitter everything was just blowing the hell up today. And this is why, okay? They needed, I guess, to squat some shit right out of the game. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious in the article that we were going to get the first army that they announced that we're going to lose some models, that being Stormcast Eternals.
Yeah, they had a huge.
I mean, they were bloated,
catalog
right?
of models, right?
They had 70 some War Scrolls,
That being said, though,
40 heroes or something.
they lost a lot of stuff, but on that list of things they lost is libs, and they're getting new lib models.
Oh
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah. So
some of this
they may
stuff
just be
can
like,
regular.
right. They may just replace some of the things. I mean, I got the article up right now, and I mean, it's just like basically the whole sacrosanct chamber is gone.
Yeah, gone. Yep.
All
Sequitors,
of it.
some of my favorite models.
Yep.
Evocators.
Evocators, yep.
My favorite
Sequitors,
models.
the
A lot of
ballista.
characters. Ballista is surprising. That was from first edition.
Yeah, I mean, like nobody used it for two editions or
Logan
whatever.
Use that thing in first edition. He would crush me with it.
I mean, I guess the main thing that they took out of the sacrosanct, there was a ton of heroes. I didn't even realize
A lot of heroes.
how
gone.
many heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just like, well, there's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 heroes. 15 heroes. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Some armies only have 5.
Yeah. Well, I think that, like, again, I think a couple of those are going to get redone. Maybe AoS style, like maybe bigger and badder and better.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like you said earlier, the Liberators are going to be in the starter box, right?
Yeah.
I think clearly prosecutors, the ones with the wings, are in the trail.
surprised.
They're in the trailer,
Yeah,
right?
so
So
they have to be
they're
coming
going to
out.
be coming in the box.
Yeah.
New Paladins, I think, because
Probably.
they have the bigger models in the launch trailer.
Yeah.
The thing that I thought was a little odd. I mean, I get all the heroes, right? But Judicators, what'd they ever do to anybody? Are they part of the sacrosanct chamber?
I'm not sure.
Crazy. It was like, wow, it's a decent shooting unit.
They're
Castigators
like,
too.
You want to bring all castigators? Well, we'll just take them out the game.
Here's
No, you can't bring all castigators.
yeah. Here's how GW is going to squash all the meme lists. They don't exist. So
They're not in that chamber. So yeah,
okay, so that's what I mean. Like, so it was a whole sacrosanct chamber plus additional things, right?
Yeah, and so like he said right now, he thinks also maybe anything that's non-sacrosanct may get new models. Maybe aside from some of those characters. But the sacrosanct stuff's
Yeah,
like it's
sure,
gone,
I can see that. Yeah,
which is crazy.
or
Those
they,
models
yeah.
came out
I
6 years
mean,
ago.
they're still not bad models. I don't like.
I love Sequitors. It's probably my favorite Stormcast.
Yeah,
I used
just
to love them.
a
I mean,
little.
they went up in points and then they kind of fell off
Yeah.
favor.
a little strange, but I think you can see it, right? Like with Stormcast, that hey, there's going to be a new launch box. They're going to introduce some new models because it's a new edition.
Right.
So getting rid of some of these models kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And they can be used. Like if you look at like just staying on theme, the Sequitors have a
Yeah.
hammer and a shield. They can be a liberator. They can
Oh
be
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I
It's just a
mean,
standard foot troop, dude.
yeah. And some of those guys have banners they got rid of. You could use that as a banner guy. There's a horn dude. You can use him as a horn guy.
Yeah.
You can use those models.
Sure. Yeah. You don't have to get. You don't have to feel like you got to get rid of your collection or anything by any means. But
Right.
they're just not going to have war scrolls in the new edition. That's all. These guys. The other army that obviously is going to get some stuff redone is the second half of the launch box, right?
Yeah.
So Skaven, squatting some models out of their range, which was long overdue.
Way too far out of due.
I mean, if you just look at the screen. I mean, literally, even though they're painted nice,
Yeah.
these
I mean,
guys are literally like
they're the
just
old
bad
kids
looking
where, like,
models.
they have the torso and an arm and a
Yeah.
head. And, like now they just make so much better models. I mean, I own a huge Skaven army and I don't even care. I can't wait to get the new models. Like,
Yeah.
like I've just, and like I said, I've printed a lot of stuff, but you go to a GW sanctioned event, you're not necessarily allowed to use the printed stuff, or certain tournament directors may not let you.
Right.
I know most tournaments you're allowed to use some printed stuff, but you never know. And so having access to models that are, reasonably priced compared to a $15 orb thrower when you need 5 to 15 or
Oh,
whatever.
right. Yeah.
Like those guys are $15, or you can get a bunch of plastic ones, maybe even if it was freaking 30 or 40 for 10 of them. I mean, it's still cheaper.
Yeah.
$3 to $4 a model. I know nothing's $30 anymore. Oh, they're $18.50 each now. And eBay. I'm just
Fantastic.
I undercut them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say this about the old Skaven models. Exactly opposite of what we said about the Stormcast models. Keep your Stormcast models. You can proxy them in for whatever, right?
Yep.
The Skaven models, light them on fire.
Well, let's wait and see what they come up with yet.
But these guys are squatted. Like, I guess you could use clan rats for clan rats.
Right. I mean, they're gonna be.
But clan rats are gonna exist, but the old models are going away.
You don't know what they're gonna put out as far as the rest of this.
But I'm telling you right now, like this Rattling gun.
I have 7 of them.
And these gutter runner models, they're gross.
Gutter runners are trash, yeah.
They're gonna, if they still want to keep them, they're just gonna introduce really cool looking stuff.
Oh, I hope so.
You know what I mean?
I hope they come out with an entire clan Ashen, like just an entire new.
I mean, yeah, sure, why not? Oh,
like,
look at
it. Is it?
I mean, I can't even believe people like these anyway. Like
like
the old Rat Ogre models. I mean, look at that dude.
Rat Ogres are cool.
I mean, they're cool, but the model's not great.
Yeah, but they're gonna come out with bigger. And
bigger. Oh, they're gonna have a. Yeah, that's what I mean. And the Giselles, they're gonna be redoing Giselles.
I think everybody on the planet's tried to come up with a way to do a proxy, like do a conversion to make a Giselle.
Yeah. So, whatever. Like the Plague Priests and the Plague Sensor Bearers were kind of derpy looking old models too. Whatever. I mean, like. Yeah, so they'll just replace them or squat these old ones out and introduce some new things or whatever, because that's part of the launch box, right? And you're always going to get new things in a launch box. Oh, yeah, the flamethrower rat ogres in the trailer. I forgot about that. I know, remember they had the new, weapons team thing,
right?
Whatever, but I forgot about the flamethrowing rat ogres. Yes, fuck. So maybe they'll bring out new models to where you can build them with fucking warp throwers or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, they already have the other kind of rat ogres with all the weapons. I don't know, whatever this thing
the Storm Fiends.
Yeah these dudes,
right?
So yeah, I mean, they have those, so I mean, they could just be new versions of those. You never know. Hard telling.
Yep. So anyways, like the launch box, obviously, right? Squat some stuff, introduce new things.
Yep.
Next army on the docket for non-existent models, thank God Bone Splitters are gone.
Oh, you say that, but there's somebody out there that is.
No,
like,
I know. I mean, and I will tell you this: the main TO of our Adepticon tournament, Nick True, very sad day for him.
yeah.
He has a large beloved Bone Splitters army.
I used to play a lot of those models back when I played Orcs and Goblins in Warhammer Fantasy Battles.
Yeah, and maybe
Not terrible.
maybe they go to that. I mean, I don't think they really said what they're doing with this, but they may just transfer them to Old World, so they don't lose out on the model range. I don't know. Maybe
They're
not.
not terrible models. They're nice looking models.
They're
all metal.
They were hardly ever played, right? They were like the redheaded stepchild of the Orc book.
Yeah, there was just better options.
I'll tell you what. The whole subfaction wasn't played. There was one model. One guy.
The Wargog Prophet.
That was in every freaking list.
And, well, every big one.
Every big wild list. And Jesus.
I'm so excited to see him go.
Was that guy a terror?
He killed 2 Bloodthirsters of mine in 1 tournament game. And
I mean, there's stories like that all over, right? I mean, yeah. I told Nick about it today, and he literally was just like, "Thank God that dude just ripped me to pieces." And I'm going, "What did he do?" He had a game where the Wargog Prophet got teleported forward and eliminated a Glotkin before Nick could move him.
Yeah,
like just straight off the board.
Hey, you got to avert your eyes.
Yeah, I mean, like Care Bear Stare is a real thing, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that model's gone, so no more of that jank stuff. I mean, hopefully they remove that kind of thing from the game altogether. You know, like Blizzard that they gave us this season.
Well, you don't like that?
I mean, I like the fact that you can get a universal spell themed around a season, but not one that can just go, okay, I just did 25 mortal wounds to you and you don't exist. Or, you know what I mean?
I mean, no, you never do 24.
24, if you rolled all 6s. But,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's super devastating. And that Wargog Prophet was the same way. I don't know how many times people roll a million 3-ups in a row. That guy never dies. Not never, but you know what I mean? Like if he's rolling 3-ups, and he just takes your big monster unit off the board, and he's a 5 or 6 wound little dummy.
Yeah,
it's the same thing, man. It's such a feel bad thing. It feels bad that you have to target this little idiot and kill him immediately in a game, or you lose the game because he stayed alive.
Yeah, or you got to stay away from them. But I mean,
well, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
They can teleport them. I mean, Orcs have weird spells.
It's just a way to deliver a death ray into somebody's army that you can't avoid. There's no, if he's in range, he can hit you. There's like
you can't dispel it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you don't have defense.
Yeah, there is the possibility that you take wounds, but I have gone against guys and they just never seem to take wounds. They roll better than you, and I don't know anybody.
Well, I mean, some guys I've taught to roll 5s and 6s, they're out there.
Oh.
And if you're talking about 4-ups, forget about it.
Yeah, well, and and then there's other people like Logan. He says that, Care Bear Stare didn't work for him at all. I know I've run a little bit of Big Wad just trying it out. I didn't get much luck with it either. So,
I think if you play enough games, you end up, it pops off every once in a while, right?
Sure, and it's worth playing, you know? I think back in the day, like way back, Tim used to talk about bringing 2 of those brothers and being like, yeah, they can cast spells or they can stare at you. And if they get in range, then they do it. And then if that one dies, on to the next one, So,
sure. And I don't think they're very expensive at putting a list, maybe 120 points.
Yeah, 100 and something.
Something.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
So, yeah, glad to see him. I mean, I own that model.
To the streets.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here, Prophet. Nobody cares about you. So
you'll have it forever. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I might paint it, and he'll be a sideline spectator.
Or you could just be a wizard in your army.
Oh, yeah, sure. He could proxy in for some other
shaman
wizard or whatever. So anyways, yeah, Bone Splitters, gone.
Arrivederci.
Um, uh, the one that's going to hurt your soul a little bit is next. S2D, baby. Basically, what? All of the Warcry warbands are gone except for
Ooh, yeah.
two, maybe?
I think they're letting you keep the Legionnaires. That might be it.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh no,
literally, like,
there's a Dark Oath one because Dark Oath's coming
yeah,
out.
because, right. So, like, all the lists that you've seen in Slaves that were, like, would just spam these units, and everyone ran out and bought 5 or 6 boxes of them because you could.
I just
right?
got 3 boxes of the
Splinter
same
Fang?
guy.
Yeah.
Splinter Fang at Adepticon.
So, like, no more Splinter Fang spam.
Yeah.
No more Unmade spam. No more Corvus Caval spam.
Yeah.
Like all the little jank units that you could just throw in your list to exploit whatever they did.
Yeah, we'll see what they do though, because right now, like the point cost is too high in the army right now. Like, I mean, there's some people that make it work and they do a great job, but I think overall, Slaves to Darkness is like a tough army to play, and so you needed to fill some gaps with some of those units, even if you were playing Chaos Warrior and Chosen, and all the big stuff.
But they're just gonna fill that with Dark Oath right now, right? It would be the
now when it comes out.
Yeah, would be the
Which
speculation on that.
Yeah, I think that they've announced it, so it could come out anytime between now and 4th. I think most likely before 4th, but maybe just before.
Yeah, that'll be like the lead up, probably. Like, they release some shit like Christmas time.
I also heard somebody said that they might put the rules for Dark Oath in book 6 of Dawnbringer.
Oh, I could see that, and then they introduce another hero or something into that.
Well, no, I think that all the different units will get it, like, or at least maybe, I don't know. That's what somebody had speculated when I was over at the game.
Because don't they still need a Chaos Army of Renown box?
Well, the book 6 is going to be like Chaos.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Out with the one they showed at Adepticon.
Oh,
the queen of the Vanguard.
Yeah, the lady that the spear does shit to.
Yeah.
And
spear.
Hey, did you hear about the spear lady and what the spear does?
It does some things.
Okay. In case you didn't know, the spear lady did some things
with her spear.
Yeah, if you don't concentrate,
it doesn't matter. She's
fucks you up.
badass.
Oh yeah.
And I've loaded up on Vanguard, ready for her box set to come in.
you're in it, man. That's exactly what Josh said to me as soon as he's seen that on screen. He said, "I'm all in. I'm all into that.
I'm buying some Vanguard. Let's roll.
Let's roll. Whatever it costs. That's what I'm playing. Yeah. 4th edition, Slaves of Darkness, heavy cavalry, and cavalry lady with the crazy spear.
Well, we'll see about 4th edition, but that's what I was thinking.
I mean, sure, it'd be cool though. I mean,
yeah,
it all looked great. I liked it, so yeah.
And Vanguard looked cool, anyways. We'll see how it shakes out.
All right. I think there's one other thing. Was there one other thing?
Yeah. Ask Tim. I can't remember.
Oh man, we should have had Tim on the show. Fuck, we missed out. We failed. I'm sorry, you guys. We failed. The most entertaining portion of the show would have been Tim's reaction to this next bit of information. Squatting the entire army of Beast of Chaos.
With the exception of the models that are like Zangors or...
Yeah, that are just going to get absorbed by slaves or whatever, right?
Or whatever
yeah. Yeah, all of it gone. Not a sub-faction. A whole army. Doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, let's be honest. Hardcore Gamer's been talking about this for months. People should have been ready for it.
Yeah.
He said a long time ago he thought that they were going to get rid of Beastmen and the Savage Orcs, and they did. He was right.
It's like he might even know people that work there.
Like he knows a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he knows somebody.
It's kind of surprising, though. They put out a lot of, well, not necessarily a lot of new models, but they put out a terrain piece for them and some spells for them.
Yeah, and it's all fair. It's not old. It's fairly newer things.
Yeah.
It's not like
the models are old as shit.
But the extras, right?
Right.
Logan makes a point. I guess like they're gonna be transferred into the old world,
Yeah.
the Beast of Chaos army. The problem is if you don't fucking play the old world, you don't give a shit.
Well, and even if you do, like he said, he changed all those bases from old fantasy to playing in
Squares to
AoS. Now
circles
he
to
wants to
circles back
change
to
them back.
squares.
He said
Yeah.
he's not going to do it. And I mean, we don't necessarily play the old world. I mean, I know I bought the books and I've talked about printing some armies for me and Ethan to mess around with and some of our buddies around, Toledo area. But it's not a game that we're going to get really heavy into. So for us, it doesn't matter. But there might be some people that are interested, I guess, if you were to sell it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna try to just say, well, I'm never gonna play it again because it's not an AOS army, and you're gonna sell it, somebody will pick it up. But I don't know a lot of people that play AOS that are also going to play Old World in the same manner as they do AOS anyway, right?
Yeah, I think we could spend an entire show talking about the old world and what I think about it.
All right, show number 2 coming in a couple weeks. Talk about Old World on the AOS show.
No, we're not going to do that because I don't have anything really nice to say about it.
If you hate Old World, tune in next week. No, but I mean, like, I guess it does kind of suck for people that are really the Beast of Chaos was not. It wasn't by far the most popular army in the game. But if that's the army that like maybe you got into the game with and you've collected it over, the past 9 years or whatever, and you painted it all up and you still play it because you love it or whatever. I mean, it does feel bad, right? In that regard, like
Yeah,
now you can't play the game with your favorite army.
It's disappointing. Well, and that's not necessarily true. They said they're going to put out the rules in the index, and you
Okay.
can play them till 2025.
That's true. Summer 2025, all of this stuff that we just shown you disappears.
And theoretically, that just means you're not getting new content. You're not going to get a new book, so you could theoretically play that for as long as you wanted. But in GW sanctioned stuff, you're not going to be able to play that army.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean that you couldn't even take your Beast of Chaos army and say, I'm going to either convert it or I'm going to use it as proxies for something else. Like, you can still play with the models, I guess, but...
Yep, in 8th edition, I converted an entire Beastmen / Chaos Warrior army, kit bashed them, and I have all Beastmen Chaos Warriors. And it's a really cool-looking army. It still sits back there on square bases. I'll never play with it, but there it is.
Yeah, so big news. Big news on them at least announcing way ahead of time that they're going to eliminate some stuff from their ranges.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've ever done that before. I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, not
like to this extent where
they're AOS, but they've definitely. Well, yeah, they cut when they first came out with the game, first edition, before your time. You were allowed to use Tomb Kings and Bretonnians and all kinds of stuff, and they squatted both of those armies.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
and there's been models, especially like in the Cities of Sigmar range that got shipped. So I mean, they definitely have made cuts, but they haven't cut major armies since like after first edition came out. I think like you could play those armies in first, but then in second edition, like they were not in the book, and they didn't have a book, and so they were just gone. And so I think that was really the first time they really, shipped some stuff up.
Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, I guess there's a few other models that are going to get retired, just one-offs. Sylvaneth Branch Witch or Branch Wraiths.
I suspect they may give them another model for that.
And maybe this is an older model too, right? So
yeah, I mean it's not a terrible model.
I've never seen this one, but the Saurus Eternity Warden.
Yeah, it's an old Finecast model. I don't know that anybody uses it. It's not in any lists right now.
That's what I mean. I've never seen it in lists. So, Valkia the Bloody.
That one was really surprising. Like a lot of people expected in this this book 6 that there would be a new Valkia model out.
And maybe. I mean, these are just old models are taken out of the ranges.
Yeah,
doesn't mean that.
But they thought that she was going to be re-released with that, and I guess technically they could release 2 models.
Right.
There's been a couple other times where they have Bathanos or whatever, the Bug Rider, and there was another guy. Was that book the one where the Trog came out or whatever?
I think yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so those two came out in a book, and so it is possible they could sneak that one in on us and surprise us with it.
Yep.
It wouldn't be that big of a surprise, I guess.
I don't think I've ever seen this actual model before, but it's Scylla, the Anfragrim.
Oh, yeah.
Anfragrim?
So that was from
Whatever.
first edition. Like I think it might have even been in the first edition starter box when Corn was in there, and it's just this big monster-looking guy. Yeah, I think that people just don't play it. I'm not certain if it's just not attainable anymore. Like people can't get it, or it's just not that good in the army, and so people have kind of let it go, and so they're just taking it out. I'm not real sure.
Was that? It wasn't a Forge World one, was it?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
no, because all the Forge World stuff left this last
I
edition.
got you.
But they could be putting out a new model of that too. There could be like a combo thing for Corn. You never know.
I think the one that was most shocking to me out of these other models they're taking out is the Madcap Shaman.
Yeah, but there's the loon, the mushroom guy. What's his name? What's the other caster, the better one?
Oh, Scragrot.
No, not Scragrot. The other guy, the other non-named dude. Hold please.
Oh, the other little foot wizard guy.
Yeah. So he is hard to find. Seriously. The fungoid cave shaman.
Oh,
so
yeah. I guess they're basically the same.
I mean, they have different spells. Yeah, thanks, Logan. About 4 seconds too late. But they have different spells.
Nailed it.
But like they said, they're trying to get rid of some models that have the same function in an army, and they have the same function. They're a cheap one cast wizard, and so they don't need. And that's an old model, and the fungoid is new and is sexy as fuck. So I mean, they're going to keep the newer one.
Big Boss on Giant Spider. Never even seen that before.
I just think they need to get rid of all the spiders. The entire line is garbage.
Well, if they made them good, people would play them.
You could, well, yeah, but you can't get really the little ones anymore. The big dudes are awesome. They're freaking sweet models, other than the little the Native American feathered, guys riding them are like kind of weird. But like the big spiders are sweet, but again, they're just kind of hard to get. So I feel like they should just take the entire spider line out, and then down the road, sneak them back in the back door and put out like a new line or something.
Yeah. And then the Mistweaver is gone.
Yeah, so, I think that was like, isn't that from like not Warcry, but the other game, Shadow
Underworlds
or whatever? Isn't I think that she's from that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think all these guys just don't get taken in lists anyways, so I don't think that's a big hurt to lose them.
I think the Valkyrie from Korn, Velkra or whatever, she is a fan favorite, so that's why I'm kind of surprised about her. But I think for sure, like, people have been asking for a reprint of her for a long time.
Well, and it could,
it didn't come.
Right, and it could come down the road too. I mean, it's not like they can't just reintroduce these things into armies or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's all the stuff they got squatted today. And that wraps up all the stuff that we had to run through for 4th edition news. I know it was a little bit lengthy on the time for the show. Ran over by about a full hour now. But anyways, that's the gist of the show. I think we just want to be mainly hovering about an hour. But we had a lot of extra stuff to catch up on.
If we go long, I don't think we want to go any longer than 2 hours. I mean, if there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, there may be some big news or a lot of articles from one show to the next that we could run through, especially all the new stuff about 4th edition that they're like little piecing out to us. So
yeah.
But that'll be the gist of the show. I think we're going to be trying to put out content, and we're going to talk about the stuff that we like to talk about, which is Age of Sigmar. So, um,
I think we're going to try what we talked every 2 weeks. At least
yep.
right now, that'll work best with my work schedule. But if we have to, we will come out a little more often. If we get to the point where people are screaming in the streets that they want to see us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you don't want to see a couple of nerds on screen talking about nerd stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
we watch all the
from
nerd shows already.
Old Men Gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna watch somebody's show and build models. So I mean,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess after fourth edition, did we have anything else that we needed to wrap up with?
Just off-topic stuff. Anything else you want to talk about? I had
Oh,
something.
I guess one thing we can do before you get into that is
No, I don't need to.
let's go ahead and talk about where you guys can find us at.
Okay,
All
we
right.
did talk about that, but we could do it again. I think.
Make sure you follow. Oh yeah, all the social media stuff. If you go on to our Twitch page, which you should be on right now, anyways, the links are there already for Twitter. Our Discord channel's in there. Our YouTube channel where we're going to be posting these videos up that you can
Maybe
watch
going
whenever.
live next week also.
Yeah.
Or next
So.
Facebook.
Facebook page. We have a Facebook page, and those are also places where you're going to find our events that I'll announce whenever we end up having more events. So if you ever need to shoot us a message or whatever, any one of those would be fine to reach out to us.
Yep. Also, make sure you hit subscribe and like. Leave us a comment. That's on YouTube, and we will answer all the comments that you guys leave. Tell us how shitty we did. Tell us how loud we were or how quiet we were. If we needed to change anything, or if our show sucks and we should go bury our heads. Either way, like however you like it, let us know, and we'll definitely let you know what we think about what you say.
Yeah.
But
comment for comment, baby.
yeah. But yeah, so we're kind of gamers that are like casual tournament players, at least at this point. I know Jake does some stuff with Team USA, and I just like playing with Jake, and I like playing with my kids, and so I mean, we go to tournaments, we have fun. We don't expect to win, but I mean, if we do, sometimes every once in a while, especially in the small ones, that's cool. But we just love the game, and so that's what we like to talk about, and we talk all the time. I'll call Jake on the drive home from where I work, and we'll sit and talk on the phone. And I said to him one night, hey, let's just talk on YouTube or do something. And that's kind of where this came from. So that's what we're just going to keep doing. So yeah, follow along and see where we go as far as channel, and see how we're doing as far as armies and everything, and see if I can ever catch them all.
I mean, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
A lot closer than most, I would imagine.
But yeah, I mean, we're just in it. We're just like he said, a couple of nerds that are into playing games. Old men, as I like to, as I said when we first started our little gaming group, we're just old men playing games. So yeah, I mean, look for us at tournaments or whatever. We'll be around.
For sure. Like I said, right now the plan is to have another show in a couple weeks' time.
Thursdays will probably be our day. That's what we're locked into right now.
Yep. And if that changes, it might change, whatever. But we'll try to get at least a video up every 2 weeks for now.
Yep.
So until next time, deuces.
Later, friends.